got that baby metal playing in the background. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I thought about this randomly just came up on my head right now, and instead of just sitting on my desk, I figured I'd just go do a little drive around video, since you guys really like these drive around videos versus me just talking on my desk and whatnot. But I wanted to talk about the 11th gen SI. No, it's not what you guys think, but from the title of the video, I'm sure you guys can tell what we're going to talk about. The 11th gen Civic Si is around the corner. The Civic sedan and the Sport have the hatchback have already been revealed. Now we're just waiting on the SI and the Type R, but we're going to talk about the SI right now. The SI overall is a really good car. It's a good performance out of the box car, specifically the 10th gen, because of everything that you can do to it and more with just a tune power wise, and just all the cool features that you get with the car and everything else in it. When it comes down to like the 11th gen, there are a couple things, and I'm gonna be taking my time here because I want to extend this video. There are a couple things I do hope that the 11th gen SI comes with. These are gonna be 5 different things we're gonna talk about of, oh, get that turbo kick in, of what the 11th gen SI needs to come from from factory. Now the 5 things that I'm gonna be naming are gonna be all over the place. Now I feel like the 10th gen, the way it comes, is pretty cool feature wise, power wise, considering you can tune it. The aftermarket support is amazing. Like, a lot of companies jumped on it, but one feature I do hope that the 11th gen Civic Si does come with: auto rev matching. Now people know what auto rev matching is, and if you don't know what it is, it's in the name. It auto rev matches for you. So when you downshift, it rev matches for you. Now a lot of people don't like that feature. I, on the other hand, think it's an amazing feature to have if you like it. I personally like it. When I drove the Type R and I drove a 370, those are the only 2 cars that I've driven that have that. I loved that feature. I think it's a cool feature to have, and it's also because if it comes with the car, you could also turn it off, which is very nice. Like I said, not everybody might like it, but I really think the Civic Si does need to come with that, just to be like, oh well, the 11th gen has auto rev matching just like the Type R and blah blah, you know. One small feature I do hope that it comes with, considering that the SI only comes in a 6-speed manual. The second thing, I know the Civic comes in trim levels, like the SI is the trim level, but I personally think the SI, there needs to be more trim levels in the SI. What I mean by that is, like, I'm gonna say the WRX, for example. The WRX, you have the WRX, you have the Limited, you have the Premium, you know what I mean? You have the Base, you have the Limited, and you have the Premium. Theoretically speaking, the Premium one is the highest quality one with like the better features, or like the better seats, or like better brakes from factory. I feel like the Civic Si needs some sort of trim level according to that. Like, yes, I know there's the Base, there's the Sport, there's the hatchback, there's the SI, and there's the Type R. Those are the trim levels. But what I'm getting at is, if they offer trim levels within the SI itself, the pricing can be all over the place. Now, when you first looked at the 10th gen Civic Si, and I'm saying this because, check this out, when you first looked at the 10th gen Civic Si, you were able to get it like 23, 24 MSRP. So a lot of people were able to get their SI pretty cheap, which is a really good bang for buck a few years ago. Now, if you were to try to get a 2020 Honda Civic Si brand new, MSRP is not lower than 26K, maybe 27, because they added the Honda sensing, the lane assist, the brake assist. They gave it a front facelift, so it comes with LED standard from factory, from the headlights. Gear ratio is a little bit different, so not everybody's gonna want the Honda sensing, you know. Some people actually prefer the regular headlights over the LEDs, or vice versa, whatever the case is. So I feel like if they offered different trim levels in the SI itself, you'd be able to price them a little bit better, from 24,000 all the way up to 30,000, depending on what you want. And hopefully it comes in a hatchback. I'm pretty sure it's not going to. A lot of people have been asking for the SI to come in a hatchback. Now that they got the coupe out of the way, there is a possibility for it, but I really don't think it's gonna happen. But that's what I mean by trim levels. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So like, for example, let's say if there's a SI Base, SI Limited, and SI Premium, they'll probably call it something else, aka Type R, which is probably not what I'm talking about. But I hope that makes sense right there. Like, I really think they should have a trim level in the SI, kind of like how the Subaru has the WRX and the WRX STI. The STI still has different trim levels in that category. The next thing, guys, and this is going to be kind of obvious, but the new Civic Si definitely needs a different engine and or more power. The 205 horsepower and 192 foot-pounds of torque from factory, it's good, but I think it definitely needs a little bit more. It needs to be at least 220 horsepower and like 205, 210 foot-pounds of torque from factory, just to keep up with the competition power-wise. When you look at the Golf, it's like 220 horsepower and like 270 foot-pounds of torque. When you look at the WRX, same thing. It has a lot more horsepower than the SI. It is all-wheel drive, but it also has a little bit more torque. I'm talking stock for stock, guys, not like, oh, if you tune this, it's gonna be, no, I'm talking stock for stock from factory. So the 1.5 liter has gained both good and bad. So it has been able to prove itself that is worthy, but it does still have some of its problems. Now, I hope that the 11th gen Civic Si does get rid of its problem. Kind of like with the 2020 model, I feel like they fixed something in the transmission, aka the clutch, to where it hasn't been slipping as bad as the previous years. I'm hoping that with the 11th gen, whatever they did to the transmission on this car, they carry it over, because it's been proven nothing but good things on my end with the stock clutch and everything else. They did discontinue the 2.0 engine from the Accord, so you can't get that in the Accord anymore. You could only get that in the Type R, the 2.0 K20C. What would be really cool is if they gave that same engine in the SI, but the Type R would still have higher power figures. It'll have better rods, better pistons, a better turbo, everything, you know. But if we still had the K20C in the SI, that would be pretty dope. I'd be a little salty because they didn't do that with this 10th gen, but that would be pretty dope if they carried that over to the 11th gen. But chances of that happening, very slim, considering Acura is going to be coming out with the Integra, and I have a feeling they're going to use that engine in there instead. Because there's a higher possibility of them keeping the 1.5 liter in here, they got to up for more power. Now, the fourth thing, they got to get rid of that fake exhaust. In the 10th gen, at least in the 2020 models, you get a fake interior cabin exhaust through a speaker. I turned that off. Once I turned that off, oh my God, I was able to hear my exhaust so much better. So they need to not have that, or at least have a better way to turn it off from like the infotainment system, and it needs to come with a better stock exhaust. The stock exhaust is just way too quiet. When you do a muffler delete, it is way too loud. It just sounds like you're just slapping bricks majority of the time. So they need to fix something with that right there. Obviously, you can fix that with aftermarket exhaust. You can go do a custom exhaust. Obviously, like I said, you could turn off the fake ventilation exhaust, like kind of like how I did. But not everybody wants to do that. Somebody just wants to get how it sounds from factory. A lot of people just like leasing the car and just like driving the car how it is from factory. So if they do opt for that, they do got to focus more on the exhaust and just give it a little bit more throatier sound from factory, and get rid of that HDMI exhaust, which I'm pretty sure they're not going to have that in the 11th gen. But you never know, because the base Civic on the 10th gen doesn't have a center exhaust, but the Civic Si does. So we don't know yet. But I'm hoping that they get rid of the HDMI exhaust and give it something a little bit better, something that looks a little bit more presentable, something that looks and sounds more performance-wise. Also, talking about sound, I hope that they improve the quality of the speakers in the 11th gen. The 10th gen speakers are good, but they're not where I would personally want them to be from factory. They do sound great, but I do wish that you would be able to hear the bass a little bit better. And not a lot of people want to hook up an aftermarket system and then get rid of like the trunk space or whatever. Maybe just give it a little bit more wattage, give it a little bit stronger speakers. That way you can hear specific bass lines a little bit better. Now, the last thing, guys, that I want to talk about is the colors. 10th Gen Si does have some cool colors. I feel like Platinum White Pearl is one of the best colors you can get on the 10th Gen Civic Si, which is what I have. That's what I opt for. It looks the best, at least in my opinion. So I really do feel like they need to give better color options on the Civic Si. One color option they need to give out with no hesitation is the Sonic Gray. They need to give out the Sonic Gray in the 11th Gen Civic Si, because in the 10th Gen, the Sonic Gray was only available in the hatchback or the Type R. At least when it comes to the Civic, you were only able to get the Sonic Gray in the hatchback or the Type R. With the 11th gen, you were able to get the Sonic Gray in the sedan. But I feel like now that the SI is going to be coming out around the corner, hey look, a Sonic Gray hatchback, they need to give that option for the SI sedan as well. It is such a beautiful and amazing color option that they need to give that out as a color option as well. Another one that I really hope they bring back is, like, I highly doubt it, but it's either between habanero red or red line orange. They gotta bring one of those two colors back. I feel like red line orange will probably be would make more sense considering it's more orangey than red. Habanero red is like a blood orange or almost like a rust color. Gotta bring that orange color configuration back to the Civic Si. I feel like the Sonic Gray and the red line orange or habanero red will sell the most when it comes to the Civic Si. But yeah, guys, those are 5 things I wanted to talk about right there. Again, this is just me talking. I really hope that they do bring these options to the car, or they add these options or features, whatever you want to call it. That way you're not spending like 32 grand for a Civic Si. Like, I feel like that's just way too much, man. There's people out there paying like 35, almost Type R money, because after taxes and all the features and all the maintenance plans and everything, they're getting close to like 35 grand. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, like, it's a Civic, bro. It's a Civic Si. You're almost in Type R territory. So I feel like if Honda does step back a little bit and see what its options are, they will definitely be able to outsell the Civic Si a lot more than the competition out there, especially if they keep some of these features in here and they just keep adding to the list. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's fine how it is? Do you guys think it needs to have more power? Do you guys think they need to bring back the coupe? I personally think they need to bring back the coupe because I am a coupe fan, not a sedan. I'm sure they did that because of business reasons, and most likely because the Integra is going to be coming out sometime next year or the year after. So it's been speculating and up there, so we shall see. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys are enjoying the content that I've been bringing out lately. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. That way you guys can keep up with my 10th gen Civic Si coupe build. And I'll see you guys in another video. You guys have a good day. Peace.